I ain't have nothing written down outside of Shannon. Let me just make sure here. Oh yeah, ain't a thing written down here.
Marc, you wrote Kehlani up there.
Yeah, shout out to my sister Kehlani.
Shouts to her.
I didn't know y'all were related.
It's the
How are y'all related?
Yeah, that's the homie. I need to actually find out what happened. But she had a speech at Cornell University.
Yeah,
and it was canceled. No shocker there. I've been canceled from a million speeches, so I understand.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Her advocacy, her political advocacy, particularly for Palestine, got her canceled. I don't think anybody should be surprised at that. You should be surprised at this point if they allow you to still come.
Okay.
You know what I mean? But there is a bigger trend that we should pay attention to right now. People are getting canceled.
Say it right here.
What'd you say?
Say it right here.
People are getting free speech is under attack. And at some point, I'm ignoring them. Free speech is under attack. And in this Trump era, whether it's universities, whether it's jobs, they're making it so that your political beliefs are stopping you from getting a job, keeping a job, earning money as a contractor or as a fully hired employee. It's just a dangerous moment, and we got to fight to stop that from happening.
All right, so I think there's a big misconception on free speech.
Mm-hmm.
Free speech don't mean you could say whatever the fuck you want and just move on like nothing happened. And I think a lot of people, that's what they believe free speech is. Like even when they say First Amendment, free speech, the First Amendment don't mean say whatever the fuck you want. It just means you're free from being like locked up.
Yeah.
For your belief.
But people can make choices.
Right. But choices come with consequences.
Yeah.
And that's the part that a lot of people forget when they go out here and say these things. This is money. This is corporation involved. This is business. So if you go somewhere and say the wrong thing on a platform or you whatever, it can affect you down the line.
Damn, did ICE just school a doctor?
I'm about to say, what type of muffins are those?
Oh, no. These
I'm
about to get returned.
It's my guy.
I'm moving.
Well, let's get that fresh aroma.
You might want to wait a minute.
What kind of muffins ICE got?
Yeah.
I don't have any
here's my
bacon in this shit. nasty muffins.
Well, allow me to retort.
All right.
The issue isn't consequences for free speech. I agree with you. If somebody stands up and says, I hate all black people, I don't think they should have to give a speech at Howard, right? I think we can cancel them and say, you're not in line with our values. I'm okay with that. I think it's dangerous to do that with Kehlani, who's actually speaking against genocide. So I would just put that out there, right? She's speaking out against the human rights crisis. But my issue is the places she's being disinvited from are places that say we want free speech. So if you say, I don't want somebody who has this belief at your company, at your business or whatever, cool. If you say, I don't want to buy this person's album, cool, right? That's the stuff you're talking about. We're in agreement on that. Where we disagree or where I think it's not applicable is a university is supposed to have everybody. It's supposed to have every point of view.
And that's what we disagree.
Marc.
No. I'm saying
a university has a board. They got people they answer to.
No.
They have
He's
to
right,
look at.
No. Especially at Ivy League school.
Yeah, I'm not being naive. I'm saying they purport themselves to be doing that while doing the opposite.
Of course.
And I'm saying that's why people are outraged. So it's not that people are trying to hide from the consequences of free speech. I think that's what happens when people get mad that people don't buy their albums or buy the records or they get fired from. Like when I got fired from Fox News, I wasn't mad, right? I didn't like it, but I understood that my values were different than theirs, and my free speech stops me from going to jail. But I'm not entitled to a job at Fox News. Mm-hmm. I am entitled to speak at a university.
You're not entitled to speak at a university.
That's not true.
If your message goes against, if your message can cause a problem or too much distraction or too much noise for said university, they have the right to say, hey, yo, we don't want that.
So I think we're talking past each other for a second. They have a right to disinvite Kehlani, sure.
Yes.
What I said was there's a bigger issue around free speech, which is universities are shutting down free speech, not allowing a variety of ideas to be articulated. They're firing faculty, for example, for speaking on certain issues. They're doxing students. Or Columbia University recently said that they're going to be taking away degrees from people for having certain free speech. That's the issue for me. Now with Kehlani, I think it's fucked up that they're not letting Kehlani speak. But it's actually not okay to police the discourse, right? You can't say, well, I'm only going to have people who are pro-Second Amendment and not have people who are anti-Second Amendment. And I'm going to invite all the pro-gun speakers and not, if I'm staying as a university saying we want all the ideas.
Marc, but that is where ICE and I fundamentally disagree with what you're saying. We're saying in this country, what you are can 100% be different than what you say you are. Mm-hmm. And most businesses here, anyway, operate like that. Yes. What do you say to that?
That universities aren't businesses.
Wait, what?
Yeah, I think that's where our disconnect.
Structurally, they're nonprofits. Mm-hmm. Structurally, they have they're designed and organized to not do that. That's the reason they have a tenure system. That's the reason why I have all these things, is to make sure that people's speech is protected. And so I'm saying, if this were a company, I wouldn't be arguing. I wouldn't be mad. See,
I'm of the belief that colleges are businesses.
In reality, yes.
They are in reality.
In reality,
I'm speaking in reality terms, though, not
But
theoretically.
he's saying that
right, and I'm criticizing them for not living up to the values that they say they're doing. That's the criticism. That's my point.
You have at it with that.
And in the age of Trump, they're making it so much worse that they're saying, like,
more obvious.
Not just more obvious, more illegal. They're banning students. For example, they're saying, Trump is telling universities, if you don't play ball, we're not going to allow you to have any more foreign students. We're not going to let you have any more international students, which is a way of draining their money for not having a certain position. Governments are saying, for example, on the Palestine issue in particular, they're saying, if you criticize Israel, you can't get funding from us, or you can't get a grant from us. These are illegal acts. Those things are actually illegal because it becomes discriminatory.
I'm with you there. I'm with you there.
And that's, so for me, it's not about Kehlani, who can, that's a small issue. I'm saying that free speech is literally under attack in places where it's supposed to be the
in
safest.
a way that it's never been before.
Right.
Okay.
Exactly.
I can agree with that.
I can agree with that.
Yeah. So put the fucking muffin mix away.
Oh shit!
But you have a different.
He didn't like that shit.
Nah, I don't care. I don't care.
You have a different. You have different views on college than I do, though.
Yeah.
So I see it.
Right. Because those are the places where I'm supposed to be the safest.
In them.
Well,
I have no faith in them. I have no faith in them. But it's more that I work at one, and do y'all understand tenure at a university?
I don't.
So the whole point of tenure is, I'm a tenure professor, so I really can't be fired. After a certain number of years at a university, you go through a process and you get tenured. And once
locked in.
Forever.
How many years is that?
It's usually 7. It depends, but 7 is general, and you have to do some things to get it. If you get approved for tenure, you're tenured forever. The logic,
so you still have to get approved. It's not I could do the time and be tenured.
No. You have to be voted, and that's why they make it like almost like a haze. You have to publish a lot of work, or you have to have a certain teaching record. You have to prove that you're worthy.
And this is amongst all colleges?
Just about, with very few exceptions. But one of the things, so let me say that the logic behind tenure initially was to protect faculty from unpopular ideas. The idea is that if I'm at a university and I want to speak out against the logic of the day, if I want to write a controversial book, or I want to make a scientific claim that's unpopular,
Flat Earth.
I said unpopular, not stupid, right? But,
Oh shit!
but sure,
Fight back.
But whatever it is, I can't be fired. So tenure protects me from that. So I have a safe place from which to operate.
Cornell University has pulled the plug on R&B singer Kehlani performing at its annual campus concert over her anti-Israel sentiments. The 5-time Grammy Award-nominated artist, who has been outspoken about Israel's war against Hamas in Gaza, was dropped from the upstate New York Ivy League School's 2025 Slope Day festivities, taking place May 7th. Newly appointed school president Michael I. Kotlikoff wrote that, the selection of Kehlani as this year's headliner has injected division and discord into the event in an email Wednesday. In the days since Kehlani was announced, I have heard grave concerns from our community that many are angry, hurt and confused that Slope Day would feature a performer who has espoused anti-Semitic, anti-Israel sentiments in performances, videos, and on social media, he wrote. Earlier this month, the Trump administration halted $1 billion in federal funding for Cornell amid the president's ongoing anti-DEI campaign targeting prestigious universities and colleges. Kotlikoff explained that his decision followed a meeting with members of the student board that planned the concert. According to the university leader, the students agreed that their choice had compromised what is meant to be an inclusive event. Kehlani, real name Kehlani Ashley Parrish, is an Oakland-born singer-songwriter who is signed to Atlantic Records. Signed to Jay-Z's Rock Nation management firm last year, she has collaborated with artists such as Cardi B, Ty Dolla $ign, Charlie Puth, and Chance the Rapper.